One, an international superstar in the world of music. The other, a straight-up deity. Aside from the power and fame that comes from their respective spheres of influence, both hide a dark secret that not only ties them together, but is the motivation for everything they do. What secret connects the boy from Toronto and the demigod from Motunui? I'm the guidance guy, and your internet school counselor's gonna venture beyond the deep to get the answers. Let's go! It's guidance time!
We're all here on Earth for a limited amount of time, and we gotta show love while we're here.
Now, I know this sounds crazy. Some of you are out there calling me Simone Biles, what with all the stretching I'm doing. But no, these two share a lot more in common than we might even realize. Like, how about the fact that both of them could easily have this track on their playlist?
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Drake didn't start out at the top of Music Mount Olympus. He was just a regular kid from Canada who took the opportunity to be in a teen drama and transformed from Wheelchair Jimmy to Champagne Poppy. Well, at least before this year happened. And Maui was born a mere mortal as well, but he found his way to the realm of the gods and became a hero to his people. And with that fame comes its own challenges that we begin to see the similarities tying their destinies. And for those who are wondering, no, we won't be covering the allegations that Heartbreak Drake has yet to beat. Unless you know something about Maui, in which case someone better tell Moana.
Hey, yo!
We're gonna start with the obvious stuff to get that out of the way, and then we're gonna to get to the heart of the issue. Didn't realize you were watching an iceberg video, huh? Well, just for a little bit. And let's start with the fame that they both share and how it shaped their personalities.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Did you know that fame can change your brain? No joke, this is facts. Just like how certain substances can alter how you see the world and yourself, research is now coming out saying that becoming famous can cause a dramatic shift in your mindset. One way it can do that is by giving you a sense of invincibility. Receiving praise for doing just about anything can lead someone to think that they can literally do no wrong. Add money to the equation, you have an almost unstoppable combo. You're now capable of sneaking into airports while incognito mode and avoiding the normies, dodging DUI charges and downgrading them into something less serious, and engineering your own son into a pro sports team when he's not ready for prime time. You know, things everybody gets to do. But that is no wonder that some go as far as thinking that the law itself doesn't apply to them. Ain't that right, Diddy? Allegedly! And when we look at the sixth man and the Big M, you can't tell me that their general vibe isn't, I'm high on myself. I mean, just looking at Maui, you realize that's the whole point of You're Welcome, right? A literal song and dance about his own greatness and how untouchable he is. And when you look at Drake, he has his own version of You're Welcome. Well, actually he has several, but we're gonna keep it simple here. Let's take Trophies for example. Our first clue is the name of the song itself, and with lines like, had hit breakers on my demo, anything I got is not a rental, and I just try to stay alive and take care of my people. The whole thing is a 3-minute anti-humble brag about how much he's above it all. And with all this Super Mario Starman invincibility energy they both got, it can lead to the second effect of fame, an addiction to the spotlight. And we all know it where we see it. The athlete that makes a team game all about themselves, the catty model that isn't happy unless she's getting all the shine. Those people define the word diva. For Maui, his fix for fame came before he even met Moana. As he became the hero of Motunui for his actions, he craved the love that the mortals gave him, and that led to him taking bigger and bigger risks, just for the chance to feel the adoration of the crowd once again. In fact, it was his greed for clout that motivated him to steal the heart of Te Fiti and start the whole movie in the first place. And for Drake, we only need to look at his output. And to be fair, if we're only counting his solo albums, he has 8. Nothing compared to acts like Johnny Cash or Elvis, but a common complaint about Drake's recent works from his fans is that he's pretty much making the same song over and over again. Cause how many times can you break up with a younger woman and then sing about it, bro? But ever wonder why he might do that? A reason could be is that he's chasing that high of being on top and being recognized. And all that could lead to an identity crisis for some who have gotten the taste of notoriety. They could get imposter syndrome and feel like they didn't really earn their spot. Or worse, they may not even know who they are without whatever skill that got them to the top. And they might even blur the lines between their public identity and their true identity. And how do we see that in our superstar duo? Stay tuned.
Baby.
Now that we're seeing the similarities between Drizzy and the oceanic legend, let's go deeper into the iceberg to see how exactly these two are suffering both due to and despite the fame that they have. Our first sign is that both of them have fragile egos. In Moana, for most of the film, Maui is an outgoing, fun-loving goofball who seems to believe that his own greatness is all he needs. But when things start to get real and Eminem get wrecked by the demon Taka, we see Maui's unflappable facade for exactly that, a facade meant to protect him and his self-esteem. Because if Maui truly was the invincible demigod that he's been saying he was for the entire movie, he'd get back up and keep going. But he doesn't do that. Instead, he says this:
Without my hook, I am nothing.
That's not true.
Without my hook, I am nothing.
Behind all the bravado and the "you're welcomes," Maui had put all his faith in the hook that gave him his powers. It's not in himself or his abilities, but the magic. And to him, if he doesn't have that hook, then what does he have left? Someone with a healthy ego and strong self-esteem wouldn't base their worth on what they do, but in who they are. Period. And when we look at the real world, it's a similar story with Drake. Need an example? Alright, I gotcha. One word: Rihanna. For anyone who didn't know about this tea, I'm gonna give you the TLDR version. Since 2009, Drake and Rihanna have been doing this whole Ross and Rachel will they won't they arc. They're seen in public being all lovey-dovey. Drake shows up in a Rihanna video. Rumors start to flow, but nothing's official. But then it comes out that perhaps Ree didn't quite like Toronto's own as much as he liked her. Then it gets messy. Drake is taking shots at Ree in one moment, then he's glazing her up at the VMAs the next.
She's one of my best friends in the world. All my adult life, I've looked up to her even though she's younger than me. She's someone I've been in love with since I was 22 years old.
And by the time it's all over, Rihanna is with A$AP Rocky, singing at the Super Bowl halftime show while pregnant with A$AP's baby and telling folk that she and Drake ain't even friends no more. So what did this Entertainment Tonight detour have to do with anything? Don't worry, it all tracks. As we know, Drake talks himself up a lot in his songs, and he's not afraid to talk about the heartbreaking he's done along the way in his personal life either. But with Rihanna, it looks like she may have taken a page from the Voodoo Child's playbook and go, "Oh, this was just for fun. You were serious about this?" And then bow out after she got her kicks. And how does Drake respond? He gets catty, throwing shade at her and her new man through his music. Not exactly the most well-adjusted way to deal with a breakup, but that's exactly what someone with an ego made of paper mache would do. And remember, this is just the stuff we know about. We have no idea how Drake was handling this mess when there were no cameras around. With both of these gentlemen, we see that despite all their success and wins, all it takes is one letdown for them to start crashing out. People with healthy self-esteem can handle disappointment and failure by finding ways to grow and get better from their L's. Sure, they will get down in the dumps for a little bit. That's perfectly fine. But they don't allow their mindset to go grimdark. But that's what happens when you have a misplaced identity. We see it when he tells Moana that without his hook, he's nothing. The same magic hook that gives him the super strength, the hurricane breath, and the Beast Boy powers. Instead of basing his self-worth and who he is as a person, his values, his love for his people, it's all wrapped up in everything he does for his people and the abilities that allow him to do it. Can you appreciate your talents and skills? Of course, there's nothing wrong with that, but that should never be the basis of how you see yourself. It's exactly that kind of thinking why a disturbing number of pro athletes struggle with depression after they retire. Because while they still got the money, the clout, and the legacy that can't be undone, they haven't figured out how to separate their sport from their own self. Without the game, some pros don't know who they are because they've built their careers, livelihoods, and identities around an activity that isn't in their lives anymore. And in one battle, Maui experiences this and falls apart because his identity was built on sand. And what's Drake's identity seemingly built on? His is built on acceptance. Any Drake fan will tell you that he's been connected with a lot of women, and who knows how many more that the public isn't even aware of. And though having a romantically unattached man living the bachelor life is nothing new, very few seem to be willing to put so much of their escapades into their art like Drake. I Get Lonely Too, Fireworks, Take Care, there are so many examples. And even in the songs where he's complaining about his romantic situation, most of the time he's the one ending things. Cause let's keep it a buck, if Drake had ghosted Rihanna instead of seemingly the other way around, do you think he'd be going after her new man like he did in All the Dogs? Doubt it. But because Drake loves to be loved and needs to be needed, not getting that love messes him up in a way that someone else may not. And now we come to the ultimate factor, the thing that ties these two together and drives their every move to ensure that they continue to feel wanted and loved. Ready for it? It's abandonment.
I wasn't born a demigod. I had human parents.
Meet Dennis Graham, aka Drake's father. Though Dennis can be seen at award ceremonies and other red carpet events with Drake now, back in the day, it was a little harder for Drizzy to see his old man. Drake's parents, Dennis and Sandy, divorced when Drake was 5. As if the split wasn't hard enough for Drake, after the breakup, Dennis didn't live in Canada, but rather in Memphis, Tennessee, almost 1,000 miles away. And though Drake states that he would see his dad in the birthplace of rock and roll every summer, that situation clearly had an impact on him. Divorce in families is known to have many risks for all parties involved, but especially the children, who may be in danger of developing low self-esteem as a result of them putting the blame of the divorce on themselves in interpersonal problems, aka not knowing how to deal with other people. You're seeing the pieces come together now, aren't you? And if we look at Maui, his story of abandonment started from the moment he was born. Maui's parents took one look at him and tossed him into the ocean, and he would have died if the gods didn't rescue him. And then they returned him to the mortal world with the power to provide for his people, which he did. But no matter how many amazing feats Maui accomplished, he said himself, it was never enough. Never enough for the people of Motunui who kept asking for more, nor for himself, who kept needing his fix for acceptance. Both of these core memories caused both Drake and Maui to develop abandonment issues, which, though not an official diagnosis, are negative traits and habits of those who have experienced intense rejection. Traits such as seeking attention from those close to them. We saw that with Drake and Rihanna, from his VMA speech to even getting a billboard in her honor. And with Maui, his heroics were his way of keeping the people's eyes on him. Also, there's purposely sabotaging their relationships. Maui does it to Moana when he leaves her to fend for himself after the first Taka fight, and with Drake, his I love you but I'ma sneak this to you foolishness with Rihanna. Abandonment issues can also look like not being able to fully trust a romantic partner or loved one, manipulating those around you so that they'll never leave you, or a nagging anxiety that those around you will leave you at some point. But even as difficult as facing these kinds of struggles can be, there's always a way out. Maui did it by realizing and owning the fact that he is Maui, with or without the hook, and that he doesn't have to earn the respect or love of those who already have his back. And as for Drake, we can't say for sure, but I think it's fair to say that he's still working on it. But now the question is, if you see these traits in yourself, what can you do?
But the gods aren't the ones who make you Maui. You are.
Being abandoned either physically or emotionally can wreck your life in ways we don't even realize. But no matter what happened to you, it is not your fault. You are not responsible for someone else's mistakes. And though you had no control over how you were left, you do have control over how you move on from it. First, you gotta find out if abandonment has happened to you. Just like how being sad isn't the same as depression, getting ghosted by someone isn't necessarily abandonment. If you're curious, I've put links in the description to free surveys that can help you determine if you're struggling with abandonment issues. One for family and friends, and one for romantic relationships. And don't worry, these links don't have a paywall or ask you for your email before giving you what you want. Trust, I hate that too. And if it comes out that you're struggling with these issues, I highly recommend getting professional help. I put a link to Grow Therapy, which provides counselors to anyone, anywhere, and for any issue. And they have options whether you have insurance or not. BT Dubs, this ain't sponsored, I just know that they do work. And something you can start doing now is journaling. Whether it's in a book, a Word doc, or an app, having the chance to write down your thoughts and feelings not only helps you control them, but going back and reading your entries can reveal patterns in your thinking that are holding you back. With both Maui and Drake, we've seen that not even fame and fortune can heal our wounds. The only thing that can do that is making sure you're putting in the work to get better every day. Now it's your turn. Are there any other similarities between Maui and Drake that I missed? Let's see it in the comments. And don't forget to do the YouTube thing. Subscribe if you haven't, and give this video a like for the algorithm. And if you want to learn more about how events like abandonment can impact your life, come see how the characters of Gravity Falls have to show us about relationships. See you there! Guidance Guy out.